The answer's no. I haven't said anything yet. I've known you 15 years. I don't know what you're coming to say. You're only apologising because you think, now that I've been promoted,
you can take him.
you on the expedition. I'd just like to say I wouldn't have accepted instantly, but I'm glad that you apologised. I did. What will it take to make this right? Fine, you get a free hit.
You're considering it?
2. Actually,
1, 2.
So, you'll bring me on the ship. Isildur, you're my oldest friend. And if you want to know the truth, you're probably still my best man. So please, I can't have the conscience state my name recommending you for a duty that you might well despise. It will be different this time. One day I hope it will be. One day, I hope you find something that you won't be willing to sacrifice anything for.
That was expected. Oh no, you're not. What the fuck, boy? That was expected.
Stowing away.
Can you see what he did?
Hand me the lantern. Don't.
Careful, Isildur. They're gonna accuse him. They're gonna accuse him!
What happened? He was in a fishing boat. The cast must have gone up. The cast? He saved my life. He could just left, but he saved my life.
That's right, but he just lied to you, right? I'm not sure of the translation.
Kingdom should be led, not dragged. I recommend we delay the voyage until we've had time enough to win more hearts to your cause.
Our enemy grows stronger every day. We still have 3 ships. And your father's blessing. What if not Hallbrand? He awaits our departure.
I'm sure he does.
You need him to convince her.
This council will reconvene at first light to make a final decision. See to it Lord Hallbrand attends.
We believe if we can secure vast quantities of it quickly, enough to saturate every last elf in the light of the banner, then yes. Yes. It very well could be.
You told him he's gonna tell the king.
Your voice at that meeting may well decide whether this mission stands or falls. Help me.
I think I've helped you quite enough.
Together let us fight them.
Not so long ago, men like me were fighting alongside them.
Men like you, not you yourself.
You don't know what I did before I ended up on that run.
Ah.
Though we all survived.
You bowed.
He was killed in a place of darkness and despair. By servants of Sauron, is that enough for you?
So this is about vengeance. Why do you keep fighting?
Because I cannot stop. My closest friend conspired with the king to exile me, because I believed they could no longer distinguish me from the evil I was fighting.
And she wants also to
I'm sorry.
prove to them that she was right.
To your brother. For all of it.
There is no peace to be found for you here, and nor for me. No lasting peace in any path, but that which lies across the sea. I have fought for centuries seeking to earn mine. This is how you earn yours.
The day your kind will return at last. Lift us up from a nook and a filth.
He's gonna see that or feel it, and he's gonna ask you who has it now, where it is now.
I pledge my loyalty to Sauron.
It's not a surprise, but it's still annoying.
You're Sauron, Elon. I'll serve you where you are.
that theory about Theo being Theoden, Theo-something.
Left, but half stayed. Including you. So lift your ring.
If we are considering that we are following all of the characters who are gonna have a ring, During, Elrond, Isildur, Galadriel, Theoden, Theo-something.
There's something you don't know.
Tell him. Yes! Good boy!
Conjured by some forgotten craft of the enemy to enslave your ancestors.
The key to what?
I do not know. The enemy commander spoke of becoming a god, of giving the orcs a home in these lands.
They are searching for that.
Our enemy knows your son has what he needs to enact it.
They're gonna come for you.
How long?
Days. Maybe hours. No! Not to the enemy. And you take away everything. You people have worked an entire age to earn back their virtue. But you undo it all. Just one moment of despair.
You're right.
Another way.
Name it. I beg you.
They're gonna die.
Look around. It's over.
Not yet.
Soon enough.
For
If they
you.
march upon us, this tower will fall.
Good.
You made it up, didn't you? You said to be one of the king of Wales.
Ah! You lied.
I did not come to Khazad-dûm for friendship, but ambition. I did not know it, but I came for Mithrin.
It was not what you wanted, you were used.
Why? Without it, my kind must either abandon these shores by spring or perish. Perish? How? Our immortal souls will dwindle into nothing,
I love so much that you're telling him the truth.
swept away by the tides of time. Forever.
Yes, that's a lot.
The fate of the entire elven race in my hands. So it would be. Say that again. The fate of the entire elven race is in your hands.
It would be great for you to earn them, no?
Fetch your feathery shirts, let's start walking. Don't thank me yet. Thank me after we find a way to convince my father.
And also after the conditions that it's gonna take. Come on, Hallbrand. Come on!
This father secure him a post. Again. Never mind.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. Report to the horsemaster. I thought I was in cavalry. You are.
As what?
Stable sweep.
Come on! At least you're bad. Yep. It was a cool episode. For once we were really with every one of them. You know, I said it a lot, we have 3 main stories and 1 parallel one. I'm considering that, you know, the Elrond story is a parallel one because it's more used to create the situation, for the forge, for creating the rings and all of that. And in fact, the 3 other ones are more connected, at least for now, with the fact that we have Galadriel who wants an army to go to help the Southland. We have Elrond and During, the situation in the Southland, and we have also the stranger who came like that on Earth, on Middle Earth, with Nori and all of her family, and we can already predict that at some point he's going to be involved into the big story happening right there. For once, we have these 4 stories into the same episode. Before that, I don't know if you noticed it, but we had 3 of them maybe, but not the 4 of them. So it's interesting for how the show is built, is written. It means that they need now to have the 4 stories to make them evolve, so they can have the conclusion for the season that they want for all of them. You know how it's built, how it's written? It means that. You know, I thought about it during the episode. I'm gonna come back to all of these different stories, but I want to come back to the theory that I introduced to you on the intro. One of your theories about the fact that Theo, is important for the story because his story with Elrond, with Bronwyn, they are representing what is happening right now in the Southland. That story is representing the fact that darkness is coming, surround, all of his army, Aether, the fact that he needs, the thing of his sword. Like, it's representing the fact that Sauron's army is evolving, is progressing, people are dying, stuff like that. So, for that, we can be like, okay, they are there, they are created, these characters, only for that. But with time, I was beginning to think that maybe their characters would be also important and interesting, and I have trouble to think that it would be the case for Theo, even if I saw that he was taking more and more place into that story, because I was like, it's just a kid, he's annoying, he's doing stupid stuff, I'm pretty sure that he's gonna die. But because of one of you guys who told me his theory about the fact that maybe, Theo, it's a short name of Theoden, Theo-something. We don't know anything about Theo's father, who disappeared, who died, who is really. So I'm beginning to think that we are following their story, because the story is representing that, but also maybe because Theo's character is important. Like, we are watching the Rings of Power, and for now, we are following who? We are following the story with Galadriel. Consider who is into that story. We have Galadriel, we have Hallbrand, we have Isildur. We are following also Elrond's story. Elrond, During, they are right there. I'm not talking about, the stranger yet, because we're not so sure of his identity yet. But thinking of that, maybe also Theo, if he is Theoden, Theo-something, if Theo is important, like, it's the Rings of Power. Maybe, in fact, in a way, the writers, they are making us follow stories which are representing something, but also into these stories, the characters who are going to be important for the rings. Do you understand my logic right there? I'm beginning to think that Theo is someone important because of the story is taking more and more importance into his story, into that narrative arc, but also because of that theory about his name, about his dad, about something around it, and also now because, the Rings of Power, the purpose of the show, it's that, the Rings of Power, to have the rings being created and given to these people. So we have to have these people presented at some point. Maybe Theo, I'm gonna keep that in mind. Okay, that being said, about that theory, let's come back to the different stories. The easiest one, for me, it's about the stranger. We don't know his identity. I'm not gonna come back to that theory about the fact that it's Gandalf, the fact that with the chronology it's not working, but we saw with Isildur that they are playing with the chronology, so it's not a reason enough to erase that possibility. The fact that, for me, it would be too obvious, for this stranger to be Gandalf, so it wouldn't be an interesting reveal at the end of the season or at some point. That's why I don't like that theory, because I want a big reveal about his identity, because they are making such a mystery around his identity that it should be a big reveal at some point. If it's Gandalf, it's not gonna be, at least for me. So that's why I'm expecting him to be someone else. The fact that he's questioning himself about his identity, himself, you know, before that, the fact that he couldn't talk with Nori and all, but at the same time he seemed to have intentions and all, you know, with the stars. I thought that it was just, you know, a default of communication, the fact that he was acting like that. Now that he's beginning to talk, we can see that he doesn't know who he is himself, he doesn't know what he has to do himself, he doesn't know if he is good or if he is bad. Like, he's truly like a newborn. He doesn't know anything about himself and all. It's confusing me a little. The fact that he helped them, you know, with the wolves, it's great because he's gonna be more accepted. But what happened after that when he cured, you know, himself, when he healed himself with Nori, we saw that she was afraid. It was the first time that he did something and she was afraid of it. Because it impacted her, because we saw her crying, we saw her being hurt, she was truly afraid. That's gonna be important for their relationship for the future. Because he's gonna be finally accepted by the group, but her, she's gonna begin to have doubts about him. So that's gonna be important. We have Elrond and During. The fact that During, you know, that conversation with the King of the Elves, like, okay, we could have expected it. I want to know your intentions, I want to know your intentions, you're not telling me the truth, you're not telling me the truth, blah blah blah. It was expected. The fact that the king is revealing to Elrond that truly he was sent to Durin's main, you know, place to know what was happening right there, that they lied to him, they betrayed him. I'm saying they because also I can't remember his name, you know, the forge guy. That's not great at all. I love so much that Elrond is not revealing them anything, and on the contrary, is revealing the truth to... he's not revealing everything. He's talking to the forge guy. That's not great. But I love so much that Elrond's choice at the end, it's not to go to the king to tell him the truth, it's to go to his friend to tell him the truth, so his friend is gonna see that his heart is pure, that maybe he can take also, you know, advantage of the situation and they can help each other better than to betray each other. I love that so much. The conclusion, you know, of that, it's really great for the story, for sure, but also for their relationship, their friendship. So really, I love it a lot. For the king, it's not that great. We can see that he's looking at them at the end, and maybe he's gonna consider that like, Elrond, you preferred your friend more than me, like, maybe it's not gonna be great for that. We'll see. That thing, you know, about the tree, the fact that it's getting darker, you know, it has some issues, and maybe only Mithril can save them. I really didn't think that Mithril would be that important, you know, for the elves to have an arm. For me, it's more a political and economic situation, you know, right there. Not really something which is gonna help you, in fact. I mean, for the elves. We'll see. We have all of the situation with Bronwyn, with Alandir and Theo, the fact that some of these people are leaving the old guy guiding them all to bow, you know, in front of Ada to say that they can serve Sauron. Is it a surprise? No, because I already felt that at the end of the last episode, the fact that he wanted to serve Sauron. So to have him, you know, giving his allegiance like that, it's not a surprise. Being ready to kill a kid for that, neither, even if it's awful. We needed to have that also to represent the men who gave up, you know, who bowed in front of Sauron. It happened, so we needed to have it on screen. Theo telling the truth to Elrond, I didn't expect it, so I'm glad that it happened. Elrond, who is making the connection with Sauron, who understands that they're all gonna come for that, for Theo, but mostly for that because it's gonna be important, they're searching for it, it's gonna be important for their plan. It's great. I'm not sure that I understand the conclusion, of that discussion between them, the fact that they know that they're gonna die if they are staying there. Why not bowing? Why not, pleading allegiance, but they don't want to do it? They are looking at the tower like that. For me, it made me think of lightening, that tower to warn people around that they need help, so people are gonna come to help. But I'm not sure that we are seeing it truly at the end, so I don't want to interpret that too quick. I clearly have no hope for them to survive. I don't know if I'm right or wrong with that, but I clearly have no hope. Did you see that army of orcs coming for you? Even if you're calling for some help, you're gonna need to defend yourself during entire days, or big hours. Remember the Elm? How it happened? I'm not sure. I'm not sure of the situation right there, and I'm not optimist, we'll see. And finally, we have the situation with Galadriel. The fact that she managed to convince Hallbrand, it's not a surprise. How it's happening, it's well done. Okay, we have that moment, heart-to-heart conversation between them. I expected it, but it's coming after the fact that the Queen Regent, she had some doubts and she's telling to Galadriel, you need to convince him to convince me. We have that little doubt about maybe no one in fact is gonna go if he's not gonna go. So it's great. I thought that it would be only about him, and in fact it's making doubt, about the entire situation. So for that, I think that it's well built, that situation. Even if the end is still the same, I was expecting it. Hallbrand joining them, all of them leaving the place, like we could have predicted that end at the beginning of the episode, but how it's done, it's pretty great. Even more because of the fact that we have the dad, the king, saying you can't go to Middle Earth, like he's almost saying a prediction to his daughter, and for that I think that it's gonna be important for the future when she's gonna remember it. We're progressing. For me, that episode looks like the other one. They really found their rhythm. I said it during the intro. They took some time to find their rhythm. I think that the two first episodes were cool as an introduction to present the characters, the situations, also how great it would look on screen and what they want to do with all of that with the show. I said what I said about the episode 3 and the doubts that I had about the slow motions, that they used too much and maybe it would be an issue if they would reproduce that on the future. One of you told me that the person who directed the episode 3 is not gonna direct any of the episodes of the season, so I have some hope that they're not gonna do the same mistake again. They didn't do that mistake into the episode 4 and this episode 5, and on the contrary, they finally found their rhythm for the action, for the stories, the narrative arcs, for the characters, to make things for them, to evolve, to get deeper with them. I'm thinking for this episode of Hallbrand for sure, but Isildur also, it was important for the friendship between Elrond and During, and also for Nori with the stranger, like really, truly, we are evolving with the stories, but also with the characters and their relationships. And we are bringing also some messages, some new series like Mind About Theo, and also situations like that about the Queen Regent, what her dad said. It's bringing stuff, it's great. For me, they really found their rhythm, that's it. And it's a good one. But see, I said it also after the first episode, it's beautiful on screen, truly, but we're gonna get used to it. And clearly, I had situations since during this episode after which I was like, looks great, but really it was lasting 2 seconds when during the first episode I was like, during 10 seconds, we are gonna get used to how great it looks on screen. and it's beginning. So that's why it's also so great that they found their rhythm for the stories and the characters, because it needs to replace the wow effect of the first episode. Cool, really cool. Tell me, what did you think about this episode? If you have information or if you saw things that I didn't, I'm interested by that. Okay, so it's all for you and for me for today. So it's all for me for now. So bye for now. Bye.
Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me that you built a time machine?
Great.